Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Be scared, be scared, be scared. I'm talking about the guys in Europe, not the guys in the United States, because we're safe here. These guys are keeping us safe from the crazy Russians, right? Right. So what happened now? The trustworthy Ukrainians are telling us that evil Russians are probably planning to blow up the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant. And the reason is they're bad. All right? And you gotta believe it. Why? Because they say it, man. So let's see what's going on here. We got an article from Ukrainska Pravda from Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Occupiers, which is in this case the evil Russians, right? Mine Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant cooler. It can't be blown up. Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Chief, the guy who's dead, let's see. Not dead, but incapacitated. Kirilo Budanov, Chief of Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, supposes that the threat of an explosion at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is real, since the occupiers have additionally mined the cooler. Budanov in a 24/7 newscast, and I'm quoting, "Unfortunately, as of now, there is a certain threat of blown up or an accident, a certain threat. That is because the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was and is temporarily controlled by the Russian occupying forces." So that's the reason why I told you. Because, so that's a threat because, and the reason is the plant is temporarily controlled by Russians. So you can't make things up. These guys think that we are weasels. So that's why the certain threat is just because it's controlled. That's the reason. End quote. Nothing more to end. My God. You tell me if you show in court and you make an argument like this, I hope that the people in court are still, the judge and all that, are, still logical. A certain threat. This is because the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was and is temporarily controlled. Okay, so just because. He stated that, firstly, by destroying the dam of the Kharkovka hydroelectric power plant, the Russians have ruined normal access to water in the coolers of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Well, firstly, Budanov, I will say something that I know is not very popular with some. I'm not convinced that the Russians destroyed Kharkovka hydroelectric power plant. Is it illegal to say that I'm not convinced? I'm not convinced that the Ukrainians did it. But one of these two definitely did it. Or they try to put it now on the nature. Oh, it was a seismic accident or something. I don't know if it was or not, but remember when the news broke out that the Kharkovka dam was blown up, the Ukrainians immediately said it was them. And then the next second, their media in the West said, yes, the Russians did it. Why? Because the Ukrainians did it. Okay, what evidence do you have? Russians are bad. They are in control of it. It doesn't. Let's put it this way. They said a lot of times that the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is under attack, and that's that, threat of being blown up. Well, it was taken over, conquered, however you want to call it, in Russia's possession since I think the 4th or the 6th of March 2022. Since then, the Russians took control of it. Why would they blow it? Why would they bombard it? Unless someone else wants it back. Let's start with being normal. Wouldn't that be the first scenario? These guys are trying to get it back, therefore they're bombarding, and it's not the Russians bombarding themselves. Boo, boom, boo, boom. Isn't that the way it is? Well, we are to believe that the Russians are the ones that are bad dudes trying to destroy their own, now, power plant. Not the other guys trying to destroy the people around it, which is the Russians, to take over back. Isn't that normality? In what world are we living in? Again with Kharkovka, if we go by who benefits about it, and this is the only argument that these guys are trying to use, the Ukrainians, it was the Russians because they benefit. And they do some mental gymnastics trying to prove why the Russians, who flooded their own armies, troops downstream, but hey, it's okay because they're evil. They didn't let them know, so it sounds like, interpretations of facts, and you can interpret them a lot of ways, in a lot of ways. But it's not hard to understand who's the weasel. Why? If someone punches you in the face, the person who punched you in the face can claim that your face hit his fist. Now, that doesn't stick. But hey, they require us to have that vision of it. And I said, mental gymnastics. So all of a sudden, if they use the Russians benefited, and therefore, and they pick and choose why they benefit and not they. We don't benefit whatsoever. They benefit. Well, if you take by the benefits, who benefits, che bono, then you go at the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines in the Baltic Sea, and you're going to find out who benefits out of the explosions, the accident of blowing up Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines. And that is one country, way far beyond everybody else, who benefits the most out of that. And then the rest, I'm going to mention Germany, not even Germany, Great Britain will be next, Ukraine will be next, and Germany and Russia will be the last. So that logic with you benefit most out of it, that means it's you who did it. Let's apply it to Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. So, it's true that you can make the point, but so can the Russians make the same point. As you make it, you're in your advantage. But nevertheless, these guys said they did it. These guys took it. Yes, the Russians did it. And now the Ukrainians say, wait a minute, no, they are going to do it as they did it. They call it a fact now, established fact that the Russians blew the power plant. I'm not convinced. So you can make a point of something that is not there. I mean, you can't reach a conclusion with unproven evidence. What I'm talking about, you make your conclusion based on unproven evidence or on no consensus. You can do that. It's maybe you benefited possibly, and then, that's the conclusion. It doesn't work that way. Because I can make any person a criminal if I do that. Even if they were not. I can go, you live in the same neighborhood where the crime was committed. That means that you did it. What? You live in a neighborhood? Yes. Guilty. What the hell? Well, we did not used to think like this. There were big strata or big amount of the population thought like that, and I understand it. Go and talk to them, and you're gonna figure out they think like that. Did you live in the neighborhood in that time? You are the prime suspect. Yeah, but so were like 3,000 other people. Are they suspects? No, just you. Why? Because you have brown eyes. So have half of the population. It's okay, but you have, you're 6 feet tall. Yeah, but so No, man, it's just crazy. The problem is we had the elites, and the elites, the educated, they want to improve and say, okay, we're going to do this. And they dragged everybody with them. Now these elites are not with them, are somewhere else, by themselves, and they are just, losing the quality. I'm not saying the elites are the angels here. I'm saying that by their drag, by their push, by their urges, they drag the culture after them. And they sponsor certain artistic endeavors by some people from the bottom, and they create it. How do you think you have all these creations? Do you think they were all millionaires, billionaires? Let's say Da Vinci or Michelangelo or what? They were all poor shitless. Look, for instance, at German composers. How many of these guys get Mozart or get Beethoven? Did they come from wealthy families? No, they did not. And someone sponsored them. Who were those who sponsored? The elites. Why did they sponsor? Because they had something refined, and they were looking, and they were competing among themselves. I'm smarter, I'm better than you, I'm more noble than you are, and they put these guys to work. That's how it was. It wasn't because if Beethoven could not sell his compositions, he wouldn't have done it. He would have done it probably, and we never heard about it until some elites would dig it. Like, for instance, you have Albinini, you call it Adagio. Remember when you got on that one to Adagio? I think Albinioni. That was taken from someone else. That was dug and found. That was Adagio. No. It was Carmina Burana. No, Carmina Burana was with, no, it was Adagio. Because Carmina Burana was with, taken from monks, chorus and so on. It was put together. That's how you have Carmina Burana. You know Carmina Burana? Tum, 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 tum. No, you know it. You like it? Yeah. So anyway, it's the elites. So here we have the elites. They are just telling us that there's evidence. And I understand it's a war over there in Ukraine, and these guys are lying, all of them. But we can't allow ourselves to be dumbasses and say, yeah, that's what it is. No, it's not. It was not proven. You just say it. They benefited. Well, I can benefit of many things in my neighborhood, if you know what I mean. But it doesn't mean that if it happens, it's me because I would benefit out of it. You understand totally this thing. Now, why would the Russians do it? Because they're bad. Will they do it? I don't think they will do it. Because if they wanted, they would have done it before. And I don't see any signs that the Russians are losing or the Russians are desperate. Remember, Russia fights, in my assessment, and assessment means numbers, because you can use numbers to figure it out, I think with between 5 and 7% of its capacity, potential. That means military, personnel, and other weapons they have. They don't use it in Ukraine. They don't even have 1 million people working, yes, fighting over there. They don't even have, what, 600,000? 600,000 is a lot. Look at the Second World War and you come back and tell me, okay, how many were fighting there. So that's what Russia can do. Ukraine, on the other hand, fights with everything it got, plus 30 other countries. So you tell me who's here the weasel. And these guys can bring more and more and more. The other guys are almost at the end of the line. They can't bring anything else, unless they bring their own troops. I don't see Hans and Jean and Michael showing up. Oh, shit. Where's my Coca-Cola? Let me fight. I'm making fun, but anyway, let's I know, take it easy, don't feel insulted. There are many like that. I saw them, and many very fit. But since I make fun right now, I'm using those ones. Anyway, my friends, fight with the other ones. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.